Hi, everyone. I'm honored to be here tonight as part of the 46th Annual Bermuda Festival to share with you a show by Lana Young, From Pink Sand to Red Carpet, A Pursuit of Dreams Against All Odds. If you haven't heard of Lana, her story is incredible. She is here tonight to tell that story herself. Tonight's program will consist of two films, Waiting, an original comedy short written by John M., and From Pink Sand to Red Carpet, a documentary about Lana's life. In between each film, I'll be speaking with Lana and some of her collaborators. And just to let you guys know, if you're watching this live via the YouTube stream, you can interact with Lana live by leaving a comment in the chat box just under the video. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Lana Young. Lana, how's it going?
Long time no see.
Long time no see, as in 30 seconds ago. All's well?
All is very well, thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Very excited to be part of Bermuda Festival this year.
And we are so excited to have you. Now, I know that the people at home are in for a treat, and I don't think they realize how big of a treat they're in for. Now, if without giving too much away, if you could please tell me a little bit about this first short film that we're going to watch, Waiting. What was the inspiration behind it, and what kind of energy are people going to get from it?
Well, I think I might have to leave that up to their own opinions when they watch it. But when we were talking initially with the Bermuda Festival after I was invited to participate, I was told I had to come up with 40 minutes worth of content. And as an actor and not a content creator, I thought, oh God, what am I going to do? And so I spoke with John M., who was actually my life partner for 7 years, but we've remained great friends. He wrote all the plays for my acting school that I had in Charlottesville, which you'll find out in the documentary. And I asked him if he had something that I could, transfer into a film. And so he sent me Waiting, and I read it out with Robbie Godfrey, and we couldn't stop laughing. So he thought, this is the one. And I'm just going to leave it there.
And I will just say, without giving too much away, that laughter from the film is contagious. So I don't want to give away any spoilers. So without further ado, everyone, Lana Young, Robbie Godfrey, Waiting.
You remember that song, You Shook Me All Night Long? Excuse me.
Yes?
My question.
Oh, were you?
I was.
Sorry, I didn't hear. Didn't realize you were speaking to me.
Well?
Oh, so what was the question?
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize you. I didn't hear the question. I'm really
Easy
sorry.
there, boy wonder. I'm just messing with you. Don't wet your briefs.
No, I'm not wetting my. What was the question?
You remember that song, You Shook Me All Night Long?
No, I don't think so.
Bummer. I love that song.
But is it a new song?
No. AC/DC.
AC/DC?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Get out of Dodge. You've never heard of AC/DC?
No?
Well, I'll be shipped in dip.
Was there a reason you were asking? I mean, was there some significance? AC/DC?
Oh.
Why did you ask?
Okay, let me just say this. I'm sorry. What's your name?
Grant.
Let me just say this, Greg.
Grant.
What is it?
Grant.
Grant? That is so weird.
Why?
Because I thought you said Greg. I was looking right at you, staring at your mouth, and I could have sworn you said Greg.
Nope, I said Grant.
I see that time I could see that you said Grant. Say Greg.
Greg?
Now say it slowly. Really sound it out.
Greg?
Oh, that is so awesome. Now say, my name is Greg.
Look,
Please, Greg.
it's Grant.
Something happened.
What? What?
Your tongue. Say it again.
Say what? You want Greg or you want Grant?
God, you are completely freaking me out right now. I have no idea who you are. Was that your intention all along?
No, not at all. You asked me to say my name is Greg. You asked me to say it really slow and sound it out like my name is Greg. But then you called me Greg, but my name is Grant. So I said my name is Grant because that's my name. And I think that's what threw you.
Did you just write that down?
Did I?
That's the kind of shit that makes people famous. You got to write that down.
I don't have a pen.
Seriously? What, you must have something to write with. Check.
I don't need to check. I really don't have anything.
Everybody has something to write with, Greg.
It's Grant, and I don't have anything. Let me borrow something.
Like what? Oh, God, not you two.
What?
You want to borrow money?
No, I don't need to borrow money.
You know, I thought you were different. When you sat down here, I thought I was looking at a man. A normal, full-grown, regular, mid-sized man. Someone who I might get to know on an even basis. Someone that wouldn't immediately take it to a place of neediness or money. Someone who would treat me as an equal, a woman with woman parts, but as an equal. Someone who might know shook me all night long. Can't you feel the shift?
What? No?
We were right here. And now we're here. Can you feel the shift of it? It's shifting. And it's not just in this moment between you and me. It's a shifting in the world. It's shifting. Can you feel the shift? It's shifting.
Please stop! You are totally freaking me out right now.
I'm totally freaking you out. That's a laugh.
Excuse me. Excuse me!
Oh, I didn't know you farted.
I didn't fart. Please stop! Stop! I'm begging you.
I can see that.
I'm sorry, I don't usually react like that.
Well, you did.
I know, I usually don't. Usually don't react.
At all?
No, not really.
You don't usually react at all?
Well, there's some things I react, of course.
Like what?
Come on.
I'm asking you plainly. Can you please just tell me your real name? Slowly.
Grant. Grant.
Grant.
See?
Grant?
Right. Doesn't even sound like Greg.
Who's Greg?
Greg is... You were just calling me Greg.
Me?
Yes!
Oh, here we go, the blame game. Typical.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, please get away from me.
Me, get away from me.
I can't breathe.
Oh, please.
I'm in here. I can't breathe.
Oh, look at you, Greg. Overreacting. Okay. Calm down. I'm a doctor. Just relax. Stick your tongue out. Stick your tongue out. Stick it out further. Stick it out further. Is that as far as you can stick it out? Okay, that's good. Now I want you to hold on to it very tightly with 2 fingers. Okay, just do it. Doctor's orders. That's good. Hold on tightly. Got a good grip on it? Mm-hmm. Good. Now the tongue should feel slippery. Does the tongue feel slippery? Mm-hmm. All right. Now this part is very important, okay?
Okay.
I want you to very carefully say Greg.
Oh, my God. Oh, please get away from me.
Oh,
I can't breathe.
I'm trying to teach you how to breathe, dumbass. That's why I'm a doctor.
You can't be a doctor. There's no fucking way you're a doctor. Let me see your badge.
I said I was a doctor, not a deputy.
Prove it. Prove to me that you're a doctor.
Okay. Turn your head. Now cough.
Oh!
I gotta say, I wasn't planning on grabbing your package on our first date, Greg.
I think I can bring you up on some sort of charges. Yeah, I mean it. I'm serious. I'm going to call my lawyer and make a determination on what charges I can bring against you.
You're a lawyer?
Yeah.
Virgins don't have lawyers.
I'm not a... Shut up!
What did I do?
Oh, that's funny.
I'm serious. What did I do?
You grabbed my dick for one thing.
Oh, that. Actually, I grabbed your package. If I was going to grab your dick, I would do it like this. I'm just joking. Why would I ever grab your dick?
You should be in prison. People like you manipulating others, trying to win whatever twisted little game you're playing. Yeah, you really should be locked away so that the only people you can be near are people just like you, and then you can just fling your bullshit at each other and just explode on one another because you're crazy and because you have poop all over you.
You're regressing right before my eyes.
Whatever you say is bouncing off me and sticking to you.
Right now, you're an 8-year-old virgin.
I'm not 8.
Ah, but you're a virgin.
You are.
Now you're 6, Greg.
It's Grant!
Oh, well, I'm glad one of us is named Grant.
Well, we knew you weren't Grant.
How do you know? You never asked me my name. A gentleman usually asks a lady her name after she's asked him for his.
What's with the... Oh, never mind. I don't care what your name is.
Who's asking?
Nobody.
Grant. Grant!
What? Please don't.
My name is Sasha. I come from yonder.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm looking for a man who has trouble reacting. Anybody like that in these parts? I said, anybody like that in these parts? Grant!
What? Yes! Yes, I've seen somebody like that around these parts.
Good. Good. Tell him Dr. Pace will see him now.
Dr. Pace,
At your service.
are you shitting me?
Oh, I hope not.
My mother warned me you were bizarre. She didn't tell me you were totally off your nut.
Well, she said you were completely off your nut.
No, she did not.
Oh, yes, she did. Actually, she said that Greg, he's completely off his you-know-what. I just assumed she meant nut.
No, she didn't.
She did.
Grant. Dr. Pace, come on in.
Same time next week, Greg? He was a fast machine. What's all messed
Sasha from yonder.
My name is Sasha. I come from yonder.
And Sasha is an AC/DC fan, it seems.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration behind that? Having that AC/DC riff shook me all night long.
You know, you'd have to ask John M., who I believe is probably watching tonight. He wrote the play, and he just has that type of brain. That's his writing to a T. And when I spoke to Dan Reed, Robbie Godfrey, my co-star, put me in touch with Dan Reed, who that's his guitar riff, a warped version of that song, which I thought was so perfect for this short film, which was put together very quickly. But we had a blast doing it.
It's incredible, and definitely I would say that Grant, aka Greg, was definitely shook. He was shook. So you just mentioned some collaborators. So without further ado, I'd like to bring them in. Milton Raposo, the filmmaker and producer, and also Robbie Godfrey, your co-star. Hello, gentlemen. How's it going?
Going great.
So if you could please tell me what was it like filming this? I understand you filmed it earlier this year during the summer, one afternoon. I mean, what was it like filming such an incredible action-packed or dialogue-packed film in such a short amount of time?
Exhilarating. I mean, that's basically the fly by the seat of your pants stuff. So, yeah, we had a short time window in which to really get everything wrapped up. So we had to work diligently and quickly. Yeah. So really hot stuff. Yeah.
Milton, do you want to?
Yeah, no, it was the same. I mean, fortunately, I think because we had the site visit, we had the location scout, I was able to, map out some of what I thought potentially what could be the shots and what were the frames. So, but having said that, it was a very short afternoon and we had to bang it out.
Yeah.
So, which is not unheard of, but it was a great experience. I hadn't shot a sort of fiction narrative in quite a long time. So.
And let me set it up because this, COVID was the gift that kept on giving. We originally tried to shoot this, back in, was it June? And Jason Lowe, who was originally set up to shoot the documentary and Waiting. Well, actually, let's start back. The first time Robbie got stuck in New York because of a travel authorization glitch. So we were all set up to shoot like the next day. And he got stuck in New York. So everybody who was set up, the schedule, everything had to change. And I was in Bermuda for a short period of time. And then I had to came back, a few months later. And we tried again. And then Jason's sister got COVID and Jason lived with his sister. So we had not even a whole week to find Milton to jump in and shoot this. So Milton didn't even have a lot of time to work with this stuff. And so, everybody was so patient and flexible to just get this done. And luckily it was just one location.
Third time's a charm.
Absolutely.
That is.
So what was it like scouting for the location, but also, coming together as a team for just one afternoon to make this movie magic happen? I mean, what did that feel like? This was the third time, but you had this one shot, one afternoon, had to get it done.
The location came to us quite easily, actually, because we needed a place where we could control the light. We didn't know whether we're going to be shooting in the day or the night or from day to night, and we didn't want to have to be dealing with changing light outside. And so Nadine Henegolf with the Henegolf and Associates was very kind to let us use their space down there, which is lower level, so we didn't have to worry about that at all. And then I'll pass the rest on to Milts.
It was. If you watched, it's a very tight space. So we only had two walls to sort of work with, right? So one plane and then it was like another plane. So it was, in a way, it's kind of a curse and a blessing. So we knew what we had to work with, but everything was tight for the camera. So, and now watching it back through like a different lens and a different screen, I'm like, oh, I could have done this differently probably, but that's always the case, right? So
exactly.
But I'm pretty happy with the result anyway.
Yeah.
Was anything freestyled? Were any of the lines off the cuff, or was it all?
Well, I would say that they were actually some of them, or actually quite a lot of them, might have been slightly off script. By that I mean that just a modicum of paraphrasing might have happened, but yeah, it was pretty faithful. I mean, if John was here, he might be able to clarify exactly how well we did with his words.
Yeah, John, if you're here, you can write something in the comments. And hello to everybody who's watching and who sent me comments so far. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, John's writing is just so perfect. Yeah. This type of comedy that you really don't want to go off script too much because it just would ruin, it mess with the flow of it. And, the characters he writes are so specific. And I just love Sasha's arc from, unassuming person waiting for, a seemingly important psychiatric session, but really only there to traumatize the next unsuspecting client with success.
Now, Lana, Milton, Robbie, can the viewers expect a part 2 perhaps sometime in the future, maybe?
Well, stay tuned for the feature film.
I would love that.
It would probably be a psychological terror.
Greg and Sasha really do get together? I don't know.
Oh my
God. Grant.
Yeah, Greg Grant.
Well,
I think we have to. We got to challenge John on that one. So now that's his next. His next commission.
Yes.
To write the sequel.
You know, it would actually be really fun to explore that story in a bigger setting. You know, because I produced this specifically for the Bermuda Festival, right? So we didn't have a lot of time, not a big budget or any of that stuff. So really, we did the best with what we had. And I think that we accomplished something really special and really fun in a short period of time. So I'm really, really pleased.
And I see one of your co-actors, Quincy, is watching as well. She said, great comedy.
Quincy, who was the real Dr. Pace.
Exactly, plot twist. The biggest plot twist of them all. Well, you guys, thank you for tuning in. Robbie, Milton, it was a pleasure watching Waiting. With the incredibly talented Lana. Thank you for all of your hard work. And I know the people watching at home enjoyed it as much as I did, which was a lot. And hopefully we see you guys back at the Bermuda Festival next year sometime in future.
Yeah. But the show's not over. Don't leave anybody.
It's not over, you guys. We've got another one for you.
Thanks, Robbie. Thanks, Milton. And I just want to say hi to Natalia, who just gave a shout out. Thank you, Natalia. Appreciate it.
Well, Lana, we've got an incredible documentary coming up From Pink Sand to Red Carpet. Now, this is obviously your life story. I saw it before tonight. Pardon?
So far.
Exactly.
And just a nutshell version.
It's a snippet, but in saying that, even saying so far, and the fact that it is just a slice, a very specific slice of your life, how incredibly powerful and inspiring it is, not just for other actors and performers, but for people from Bermuda and other small countries who have those big dreams and want to chase them. So unless there's anything that you would like to add before we play From Pink Sand to Red Carpet, I think it'd be best if we just jump right in.
Let's jump right in. I hope you all enjoy it.
From Pink Sand to Red Carpet, you guys. Enjoy.
What is life force in a performer? I think it's the total commitment of the mind, will, and feelings into whatever role they're playing. And that Lana had in abundance. She had a boundless energy, which made and makes her performances powerful, authentic, and creatively truthful. It was my privilege to teach her and to work with her, and I wish her every possible success and every possible happiness in the arts.
I did a lot of dreaming from this place. Right here. I would just sit and stare at the vastness of the Atlantic Ocean, and it would just put everything into perspective. It made me realize that I was just a tiny speck in the whole universe. But I still didn't feel small, if you know what I mean, if it makes any sense. It lifted me up, it raised me up. And I would just sit here, and you could hear that noise, the lapping of the ocean, and the ocean never giving up. No matter what obstacle is in its way, it just keeps moving until it gets to the other side. And that is the lesson that I learned from sitting here day after day and fishing and diving in and swimming and just being in this beautiful spot.
When Lana and I were young, we both dreamed of being actors and had a lot of fun trying to form a TV show called Lisa Lisa, because Lana's name was Lisa then. Lana is so impressive because she's taken the bug that she had as a child and she's rolled with all the things that life has given her and come out on top with her dream. She always had the dream, she had obstacles, but she always kept it in focus, I think, and rolled wherever it took her.
She really epitomizes, you know, what you really need to have in the film industry, which is you really have to have that faith, that belief in yourself, and the knowledge that whatever is meant for you does not go past you. And Lana really, that her story and her career is that, and it's so inspiring for Bermudians to know that and to see her shining example of that. And we do have a lot of young Bermudian actors out there doing what Lana's done and, you know, following her path, which is really inspiring. And it inspires me because that journey of being a filmmaker is still, you know, as hard as it was when we met in 2008. So you just keep going down that path.
She's very much a healer and an inspiration person. You know, the term today is of an influencer, which has a superficial quality about it, I think, because I think her sense of influence and impact is greater than that. So for all of us who have a chance to interact with her and really get to know her as the real person, to get past that glossy, you know, she's a star, I want her autograph, you know, to really embrace her and know her, and we are fortunate to have that relationship. And how wonderful she's chosen a craft that's so high profile, because she gets to share that with the world.
I know, we're just walking and talking. So this was our apartment. This is my first living space. I have pictures like of my dad holding me on this wall. And this space felt a lot bigger because I was one. I had my first birthday party on this patio. And it was all clear, and there was a bunch of other kids here, and there was like a barbecue. And I think I was just starting to stand. Like I had to pull myself up onto things. It's crazy. Wow, everything looked so much bigger when we were little.
Well, I remember that you used to sort of pose and dress up in all sorts of my clothes and wear my shoes and all that sort of thing.
Practicing for the red carpet.
Probably. Yes. But my first memory of Lana acting was when she was about 3. And it was at kindergarten.
Oh, no, I think it was nursery school.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Yes, it was a nursery school. And it was Nambour on Strawberry Hill. And she was the lead lady in
Puss in Boots.
And the lead man was Jeremy Whittle. And at the time, she introduced him to her dad and me as her boyfriend.
How old was I? 3?
I think you were 3. So from then on...
Start 'em young.
From then on, there was no stopping her.
High, when she was going to Bermuda High, she was in this play, and she was supposed to be a doll that stands still and don't say anything. And this little girl forgot her lines. Lana was going, telling her lines on the side of her mouth, and she was supposed to talk. And everybody just laughed and made a fuss. So she used to go down and fish and catch all this fish for her cat Whiskers. And when she used to bring them up, you know those smaller fish, Bermudians love them. And so I used to cook them and eat them, and she came home and said, "Mom, Dad's eating all my fish." You know. So.
I was 9, and my parents' marriage had been struggling for a few years. And I remember waking up one morning. It was a Saturday morning, I think, and there was a bunch of boxes packed, and my mother said, "We're leaving." And I remember that being the first time that I had an awareness that nothing was guaranteed in life, and to appreciate moments while they're happening because we don't know how long they'll last. The school at the time, I know it's evolved a lot since then, but it just didn't nurture my spirit. It was very academic and very old school in the sense that you didn't speak unless you were spoken to. We were just sort of lectured at. And so my studies suffered, and a very high-ranking person in the school told me when I was 14 that I would never amount to anything. Rather than coming from empathy and wondering what was happening in this child's life, she had labeled me a rebel and had written me off. It was a defining moment in my life. I remember thinking to myself, I can either believe this woman and give up and accept my fate, or I could go out there and prove her wrong. And that may have been the first time I stood up for myself, and it has become a pattern for me. You underestimate me, I go out and prove you wrong. I said to my mother, can you figure out a way to send me away to school? And at this stage, my mother was just getting her real estate career going. She was a single mother. It was not an easy task for her. But after some research, she realized she could leverage her life insurance, and we found an excellent school, Ridley College in Canada, and I will be forever grateful to my mother for figuring out how to make that happen for me.
I remember my first production at Ridley College, which was Arthur Miller's The Crucible, and it was my first year at the school. Didn't really know anybody. Lana pitched up for an interview, Lisa, as she was known then, and she auditioned and got the part of Tituba, the young girl, mysterious girl with a mystique from Barbados. And I remember after the first rehearsal, she said to me, she came up and she said, I want you to know that I'm really, really serious about this. Acting, I want acting to be my life, and it really matters to me. And I took that to heart, and she was true to her word in every possible way.
Of course, we all know from previous discussions that she wanted to go to university to do drama, and I didn't think that was such a good idea, because if she wanted to come back here, she might not get a job. Anyway, it all worked out. She got a good degree, and you need psychology and life generally. Then, people didn't really open very many doors for her. In fact, in my opinion, people here who could have maybe opened doors didn't. She just went and kicked the doors open for herself.
So I needed to cast the character Andrea Devereux, who was one of the beaux-arts, one of the high society rich ladies that was in the play. That was the character. And I couldn't find anybody. And so I was walking, I went to Rock Island Coffee. That was my favorite place to go. And she was coming out of the door. And I went, oh my gosh, that's Andrea. And she has to not tell me no. Now, I have an uncanny way of loving to ask people to be in my shows, right? And so I asked her when she was coming, I said, hi, my name is, I'm doing a show at Hamilton Princess. Would you come and audition for me? And you looked at me kind of weird, like, okay. And I said, great. Gave you the information about the venue, the time, and all of that. And as I was leaving, I turned back and I said, you do sing, don't you? And she said, yes. I can sing very hesitantly if I have to. I said, okay, this is great, see you there. Then I stopped again and I went, and you do dance because this is a musical. And she says, okay, she was like, okay. I said, right, I'll see you there.
Ever since Ridley, ever since I've known you, really, you've always been into the dramatic arts. Like, you've always been wanting to pursue this dream of being an actress. And
you were an important part of that, though, because, and you may not have known it at the time. I remember coming to you and saying, got this audition, it's been so long since I've been on the stage, they need me to sing in it, and I'm terrified.
My words were to you, look, you just gotta go do it. This is a perfect opportunity for you to spread your wings and fly.
Yeah.
And lo and behold.
Quit talking about it.
That's it. Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Get on with it. Just do it.
Everything happens because it's supposed to happen, and that's what was supposed to happen.
You discovered me.
Well, this is amazing,
And I took a deep breath, and I practiced my song like crazy, probably drove my mother crazy, and went in and auditioned, and got it.
And there it is.
I don't know if the song helped.
She
might have looked past that part.
But again, I guess it kind of led you down the direction that this is what you want to do. This is your dream.
Yeah.
And you're going to pursue it. right? Every which way.
It got the juice. It got the juices flowing, and it reminded me of how soul fulfilling it was for me, because my day job wasn't really soul fulfilling at all, and this kind of saved me at night, you know, to be able to go and get on stage and tell these stories. And I did drama in Bermuda right up until I moved to Boston. And when I was in Boston, I was like, I'm gonna try it here.
There was always the desire and the want. So when she started doing the plays, The Ham's Princess, Once on Island, and then Extremities, and it was crazy to think that, you know, you got this great job, everything that you want, one would think you'd want, but you're still gonna do this, and everyone thinks, you know, that's great, Luce. You know, do your little plays, that's all right, you have fun, but this is what your real job is.
Right. I mean, when she left and went and got married and went to Boston, and then as soon as she was like, I'm going to do theater up here, it was like, oh, good for you.
That's nice.
She has an outlet there to continue it on. It's maybe a bit of a bigger stage. So it was like, go for it.
When Lana came and told me that she was leaving to go to Boston, I held my heart, because I kept saying to myself, oh my goodness, this girl is going to be destined for great things, and she could do it. She could really, really do it. And I had been saying that, but I never voiced it aloud, you know what I mean? When she said she was going, no doubt, she's gonna be famous. And here we are.
I just want to give a huge shout out to Lana Young, who we all know and love. I mean, I love this person so much that I introduced her to one of my closest guy friends in the States and said, get down here. Here, meaning Bermuda. We were in a play together, Little Shop of Horrors. So much fun. And I said, get down here. I got the girl for you, because I don't think I'd met someone as fun and kind and sweet and intelligent and wrapped up in this cutest little package. And so he came down. Before you know it, I was buying a bridesmaid's dress, and Lana was moving to the States.
So it was my first time living in a city as an adult, taking care of myself. And I went back into the corporate world while I was living there, but I started to dip my toe into, you know, little amateur things thereabouts, because I was a little nervous. I was like, okay, I'm a big fish in a little pond in Bermuda, but now I'm in America, you know, North America. But I started to book these little things, and I booked the lady with the pet dog at the Leland Center, and then someone who was casting for something else saw me in that and asked me if I would audition for that, and I booked that, and it just kept going, and I was like, okay, this is something that could be real, maybe.
I've been friends with Lana for a long time, and we met right around the time that she was in the process of going through her divorce. And I remember she said that she was going to move to London to do drama school, and I thought that was a great idea. I mean, she was probably in her early 30s, and I was like, great, that seems like a great time to pick up and move to another country and learn something new. But the thing about Lana is that she's always been that person who just decides to do something and does it.
And, you know, now looking back, it seems like the wisest choice ever, but it was actually kind of a brave choice at the time. People didn't go back to school in their early 30s. They didn't make these kind of huge career shifts at that stage of life, and yet she was doing it and went full throttle into this new world. And I think it's just a mark of her willingness to do new things at any age that has been a big part of her success in this pursuit.
I had the privilege of training with Lana as an actor at Arts & School of Acting in London in 2003, 2004. My first memory would be on the very first day. You had 20 very nervous, very excited drama school students all waiting to start their drama school journey. And I remember it was 9 a.m, it was the very first lesson, the very first meeting, and we were all very nervous. And she stood up with a camera and she said, everybody look at me and smile. I want to capture this moment and you're going to thank me for it one day. That's the only photo that exists that captures this really special moment of 20 people about to start an incredible journey. And she had the foresight and the initiative that no one else did to capture that moment. And I really do thank her for that.
You asked me for my recollections of Lana. Well, without doubt, it's her life force which made her an unforgettable student. Her joyfulness, a sense of genuine curiosity and appetite to embrace everything and everyone that she came across.
And I'm really pleased that I had the opportunity to actually work with her and give her the opportunity to kickstart her career, if you like, and to launch herself as an actor. 16 years ago, I gave Lana her first job at a drama school. So I was directing a production of The Graduate, the first production ever in the round, and it was my first main house show, so I was rather nervous about it. But Lana, I auditioned her with lots of other people, and she stood out. She was fantastic in the audition, and then subsequently also during the rehearsal process. She was brilliant, and I'm really pleased that I had the opportunity to actually work with her.
Remember Little Island Girl, finishing drama school. What's the next place an actor goes? Los Angeles, right? Yeah. So I show up like, here I am, you know, jazz hands.
That LAX with my dream and my party.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know, there was like just crickets. And this is why I think I love mentoring so much and coaching, is because I had nobody to tell me any of this stuff.
Right.
So Killer Flood, the day the dam broke, gave me SAG eligibility. So when I arrived in Los Angeles, I went straight to the SAG office with one film credit on my resume, and I joined SAG. Mm-hmm. So in addition to that, I was also 35, and I'm mixed race. And this was in 2005.
Right, when they were not really representing people of color.
Or women that age, right. Yeah. Women that age, especially, like it was very young and very Caucasian at that time for women. So, you know, I didn't audition for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So I took classes and I did a couple of like little independent shorts and things like that. But then I finally got a couple of national commercials, and then I booked my first TV show, which was Zoe 101. I was a teacher, and when the final show came out, you could only see my back. And I'm like, so this is funny because in Killer Flood, the day the dam broke, I was also evacuating people out of my hospital. So in Zoe 101, it was when there was like some transformer was about to explode or some generator, and I was trying to evacuate all the kids out of the library, and they just showed my back and me talking with my back, and I was like, damn it, I can't even use that for my demo. But it was great to have the credit on IMDb. So now I had my second credit. At the end of 4.5 years, I decided to move to Charlottesville, Virginia.
If it doesn't exist, Lana's going to build it. When we first moved to Charlottesville, she wanted a sound studio. So she found this guy who had just redone his sound studio, and he had all this foam. So we went and we picked it all up, and she built her own sound studio in our basement. Got her little mic and instantly started booking voiceover work from Charlottesville in our basement. It just makes it happen.
I started an acting school. I was fresh out of Los Angeles, so I thought this was going to be a great opportunity to be like, you know, Los Angeles actress starts acting school. She can help with casting director workshops and all this stuff. And then I was like, wait a second, I'm in Charlottesville. They don't really give it about that.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought, what would be appealing to parents? And I thought, teaching life skills through acting. So that was the name of my school was the Hollywood Theater Lab, teaching life skills through acting.
The first time I met Lana was when she was interviewing for a job at Village School. She wanted to be the drama teacher at Village School. And I must admit, I mean, it was unbelievable. She came through the door like a whirlwind. And, you know, Charlottesville, Virginia is a sleepy college town. You don't bump into women like Lana very often. I mean, the passion is incredible. And thank God she accepted our teaching position. And the girls loved her. They loved her for a lot of reasons, but I think a couple that are really important is that, first of all, Lana is always straightforward and honest with her students. She develops an incredible rapport with them. If there's one thing about middle school girls, they can detect BS from a mile away. But the intensity with which she taught the girls to do their very best was always measured with humor, a ready smile, and when necessary, and it did come up, a big hug. But most importantly, Lana was a role model for our students. Her imagination and courage to dream big was key to her instruction. And every middle school girl needs to learn to dream big and to fight for it. Lana Young is unstoppable, and she helped our students learn how to be unstoppable.
She was there for me when I was trying to figure out stuff with agencies when I was a kid. She was there for me at the Adrenaline Film Festival. And overall, I've just had a really great experience with her and just learning from her. And I think it's really awesome to see her going to New York and her just being able to pursue that, because I feel like a lot of people kind of look at that as like, oh, well, you know, starving artist type thing. Like, people may go to New York, but they're never gonna make it. And I think she is just a great example of proving those people wrong. That if you have enough passion, you have enough drive for something you want to do, and you do enough work on it, you can get it done.
5 years there, and I had just gotten one of my students an agent, STW Talent, with Susan Tiller Walters. She was a little star, Elena Lazorchak, and I approached Susan and I said, would you consider representing me? And she was like, hell yeah! So
that's the response you want from an agent.
Exactly. And I joined her at the beginning of 2014 and immediately booked Recurring on the Vampire Diaries, Devious Maids, and Southpaw. All from Charlottesville, all in a row.
I mean, and those are huge projects.
And it was just an example of the timing being right. All of a sudden, Hollywood had caught up. So Antoine Fuqua kept saying to me during shooting, you should be in New York. You would do really well in New York. And then I asked Jake, I was like, Jake, you're from LA, but you live in New York. What are your thoughts? And he said, I just feel like New York is more collaborative and it feels more about the craft. People are more supportive of you and all of that. And I said, well, that sounds like my place. And we wrapped that movie in August 2014, and I moved to New York in September the next month.
And I would say, do whatever you can in your power to make it happen. Even if it feels like it's impossible, if you believe in yourself and you really want to do it, you will find a way. I always say this because one of the arguments is, well, how are you going to make money? Well, you can make really good money as an actor, by the way, when you get to that point. You know, just not in the beginning maybe, but you know, again, that's where the love for it comes, right? When you love something so badly, you figure out how to make money doing it. And it might be in between times, and my students, when COVID hit, everything shut down. My last job was Dynasty. And I flew back on like March 6th or something like that. And already people could feel it in the air. And then there was the shutdown and everything stopped. And I was like, oh. But I love to coach. And I started ramping up my students. And my students saved me, not only my rent, but they saved my soul during COVID. Because it brought me joy and it brought me purpose. So why I'm saying that is find something you're good at so that you can continue to make money while you're pursuing your dream of acting. And there's nothing to be ashamed of there. You know, that 5 years in Charlottesville, people might have thought, oh, it's over for her. But I never stopped believing it was over. It was just like I was reassessing, regrouping, figuring out what the next step was.
It's just crazy to think that like less than a year ago, last September, I had my first session with Lana, and then I started like auditioning for things in January, and now like I'm actually like doing this stuff, having auditions, like live auditions, doing like callbacks.
You can make your dreams become a reality. Find a mentor like Lana. Lana, thank you so much for taking me under your wing and helping me to realize my dreams with your coaching and your confidence building, and for everyone else that you've done the same for. Thank you so much, Lana.
Lana is the definition of a connector. She is always helping to build bridges and introduce relationships to the people in her life. Working with her is always fun. She will always make you feel valid, open, and welcomed.
Her mentorship has really laid out a flat plan for me. She shows that she's really invested into my career. She has her own career to worry about and tons of others. But when she talks to me one-on-one, I feel like I'm the only person in the world that matters. So her just coming up with a plan for me was just really exactly what I needed.
I just cannot speak highly enough about her. She has been with me every step of the way with my career, and I honestly wouldn't be where I am without her. Anytime I have a question about the business Anytime I need help with an audition, she is there to coach me, to be my reader. She was the one who inspired me to go to Atlanta, and that it's done wonders for my career. Without her, this would not have happened.
You know what's so cool is that little by little, like all of us growing up together, you think, oh, that's great, Luce. That's wonderful to have a dream. That's great. But no one really does their dream. They just do what they're going to do to get by. But you have your dream. And then little by little, all of these people who just sort of said, okay, there were skeptics. I think we all had a little bit of skepticism. Now everyone's just like, holy crap.
She did it.
She did it. Little by little, it's an inspiration to think that you're inspiring people to say, you know what, it's never too late.
Yeah.
To do what
it never
you
is,
really
and
want to do.
she's the epitome of that.
The Atlantic Ocean was my loyal childhood friend, my turquoise teacher, who taught me that life was a journey of ebbing and flowing, and to never give up. And every red carpet I'm on, I always look down and I see pink sand between my toes.
Hey, Lana, welcome back. What an incredible story. How does it feel watching that back, seeing your life condensed, but, just that condensed bit of your life that you've shown, you've touched so many people and inspired countless more. What is that feeling?
It always makes me very emotional. First of all, thank you for all these awesome comments to everyone. For some reason, my comments section is out, so I can't respond to every one of you, which I would. And so thank you for being here.
I saw Mr. John M. jumped in there.
Lots of names from the past. What I think the thing that stuck with me the most was listening to everybody's testimony. I think everybody should have people talk about them before they die like that. You know what I mean? Like, to know how these people feel about me and their sort of perspective of my journey, what they observed through their own eyes, was really tremendous. Like it's like nothing I've ever experienced before.
And did you see even one of your co-stars from Waiting, Quincy, said a very inspiring piece for a Bermudian actress like me. Thank you for sharing your story, Lana.
Oh, thank you, Quincy.
Lana, simply incredible, and it is true. You went from pink sand, tiny Bermuda, a speck in the Atlantic Ocean, to red carpets, Hollywood, New York City, even small town, southern United States. You found a way to take some of that magic that you had from your own inner beliefs and inner drives and pass that on to other people and kind of turbocharge them to follow their own dreams. Absolutely incredible.
Wow. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
It just feels right. It brings me joy to pass it forward, to spread the word, to share whatever I've learned. And I really hope that I'm in a position one day where I can do it for everyone, and figure out how to bring other people in to help with mentoring other people, because it's very satisfying, and I feel like, what's the point of being successful if you're not going to use that to help other people?
I agree. And we have another comment coming in from Jill O'Connor. Lana, you are a powerhouse and an inspiration to young people and others. Your mom must be very proud of you, like we are as Bermudians.
Thank you, Jill.
I'm telling you, it's powerful, Lana, powerful. And your journey is far from done, which makes it all the more incredible. So without further ado, I just want to bring in some of your collaborators from this incredible project. So Mr. Jason Lowe, Director of Photography, and Mark Rodriguez, the visual architect. Hey, gentlemen, how's it going?
Oh, that's beautiful.
So if you guys can tell me, how did you come to work on this project with Lana, and what was it like, all this coming together, scouting locations, filming, doing the testimonials? What was it like?
Well, Jason, since you were filming, you were first. So
all right, no problem. Yeah, so I mean, it was quite interesting. I just got a random text one day. Actually, not a text, a video message through WhatsApp. Hey. So my name is Lana Young. we just shared the video just now. Actually, it's been such a long time, right? So, yeah, it was just kind of random out of the blue, and she's like, "Hey, I want to do this project," and I'm like, "All right, cool, let's go for it." And we started up. I mean, it was really interesting when we spent a little bit of time beforehand, kind of like just taking a look at different scenes and places that we wanted to shoot and stuff. And at the time, Lana hadn't been back to some of those locations since she left, like when she was a child. So that was an interesting experience, just kind of watching her go through those moments again and trying to kind of put the pieces together, because there was a couple places that we didn't even know where they were. So we had to go and find them. So it was quite interesting. Day. It was very, very fun. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. And then, I mean, when we started getting into the filming of it, it was a really beautiful way that we filmed it, I think, because we spent the morning time kind of just filming all the different interviews and getting all the different accolades from people and stuff. And there was quite a bit of funny moments that were cut out of the actual film from the interviews and stuff. But it was really, really beautiful. Kind of going through that, and then filming the different locations and stuff, and that kind of became a bit emotional, I would think. I mean, Lana, you could probably speak more to that.
Yeah, no, you're right, Jason. It was very emotional, especially in the beginning when I'm sitting on the rocks and I talk about I sat here so long. Right in the beginning, I just sat out here looking out, swimming, diving, and just being in that spot. That was a very special home for me, and I got to live there for several years before we left. And I really felt like that moment shaped my life for the future. And for us to be able to go there, and this is a great story, actually. I went to the house. Jason and I on our scouting day went to the house. We knocked on the door and there was no one there because we wanted to film there, right? But I had written out a letter to explain what I wanted. I used to live here until I was 9, and I want to come here and shoot for my documentary. And I left the note, and then they got back to me in WhatsApp, and they said, "Yes, come on." And I hope they're watching tonight. Come on, you can come and film. So being back there, and oh yeah, it just makes me tear up right now. Actually, it was very special. So there was a lot of people that helped to make this story happen. Yeah, and then Mark swooped in, and I just want, if I may, sort of set this up, and then I'll let Mark take over. I didn't really know how it was going to unfold yet. And Kahani Cooperman, who's an award-winning documentarian, a friend of mine, I said to her one day, I really want to make a documentary one day. This was years ago, except I don't know how to do it. And she's like, you just got to start. And I didn't really know what she meant until now.
Yeah.
I started talking with the Bermuda Festival in March. We only made the decision to do this in March this year. Okay. And then I got in touch with Mark, Jason, in, what was it?
Probably like April, that area somewhere.
May, I think it was April, May. And then Mark in June.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't know how it was going to unfold. I just knew that I wanted it to feel inspirational. I wanted people to know that they could pursue their dreams, no matter how little or how big, and not to give up. And I didn't know how that was going to unfold. And then got awesome Mark to step in and use all of Jason's wonderful footage. So
I appreciate you that, Lana. So yeah, I mean, just basically just getting the baton from Jason and just looking at the hours of footage. And I kind of stretched that in a beautiful way because, for what you did see in this documentary, there were a lot of outtakes that were so beautiful that I really wanted to keep in. But, really with the documentary, it's finding that balance and really trying to tell the story. When Lana first came to me with the project, I was first telling her, when creating this, there's different pockets that we can have this. There's different arcs in which we can describe this. And I feel like after all of the drafts that we've come about, obviously this being the best version that everybody's seen, in each iteration of the draft, is basically, it was very inspirational because, we as Bermudians, and when you think about it, when you talk to anybody internationally, you explain to them Bermuda's small, there's only like 70,000 people, the whole script. And, what's so fantastic about that is that everybody is so important. Everybody has such a impact, not only in Bermuda, but outside. And Lana is a beautiful example of that. And, in this way, to really capture that, it was pressure, but it was beautiful pressure being a Bermudian myself, So really, I would say as the editor, taking the baton from Jason's amazing clips, and also just handling all of the other clips and interviews from all the other lovely, beautiful people you saw, trying to balance all that, it was definitely a task. But I think the best thing is just trying to keep the end in view, and really making people feel, which is the end message that I see kind of a lot of the comments leaning towards, which is resilience. No matter what challenge goes through, what anybody may go through. Lana as an example, Lana as the archetype of success, it really shines through, and that's what we really tried to capture. So I really tried to stay through and stay true to when Lana and I first met, and to really just describe that to a T. And I hope everybody felt that. I know I did. But yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well, it seems as though that you guys, as a collective, you found a way to take a very personal story and not just make it universal with the themes that you mentioned, resilience, perseverance, acceptance, but also make it a national story, because there's moments in there that I think, hopefully I'm not just speaking for myself, but where each of us as Bermudians can kind of see a little bit of our own story or parts of our own journey in Lana's journey, which I think is incredible. I think you guys did an amazing job telling this part of Lana's story. And
thank you so much.
I believe the audience agrees.
I learned a lot, and I have to say this, when I said to Mark, I'm not sure, am I going to have to do like a big voiceover narration in order to tell the story or whatever? And we started gathering all Jason's clips, and I started gathering clips from the States and from London, and, pictures and footage and all this stuff. And as Mark started to weed through all of it, he said, you know what? I think all of these testimonials are going to be your narrator. And he was right. And I was like, oh, and maybe we can pull in some podcast interviews. Maggie Stiggers, who I think is on the show, right?
Hi, Maggie.
Now. Hi, Maggie. And the Daily Hour, the Bermudian talk show. When Mark put it all together, he was able to show a narrative through everybody's observations of my journey. And I had to do very little voiceover. And that was so exciting to me, because I realized now what Kahani Cooperman was saying when she said, just start, and it ends up telling itself. And it was very exciting for me. And I'm so lucky to have been surrounded by such an amazing team of people.
I just want to quickly shout out Juane. Juane,
thank you.
Was extremely pivotal. I think she was first to volunteer, and she was there pretty much the entire time that we were filming, which was amazing. So I just wanted to shout out Juane
for both projects too.
For both projects, yeah.
For waiting, and thank you for that. Absolutely. And if Juane, if you're here, thank you. And to Zoe and to Lisa and my mother and my father and everybody who pitched in and I felt the love.
Yeah, we can't leave our moms.
Well, Mark, Jason, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for working with Lana to create such an incredible piece of art. And we hope to see more work from you guys both in the future.
Yes.
All the best.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
All love.
Thank you.
Take care. Now, Lana, those were two incredible showings, Waiting and From Pink Sand to Red Carpet. I mean, wow.
I can't believe we did it.
What's next for you?
Well, we've got the Tyler Perry movie coming out next year on Netflix. That's exciting. It's called A Jazzman's Blues. We don't know an air date yet, but it'll be sometime next year. So that was a trip working with Mr. Perry, sort of on the bucket list. I could tick that off now. Just writing, and I really loved producing, and I love directing, so I'm hoping to do some more of that stuff and hosting. I'm an open vessel. I'm ready to receive whatever comes my way.
And that is the correct approach to have, and Lana, honestly, just personally viewing your stories or your story and seeing the work that you've done and continue to do, you have inspired me and countless others. So I just want to say all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your journey with us, Lana, as part of the Bermuda Festival. And we look forward to seeing you more on the big screen soon, very soon.
Thank you to everybody. I don't know if anybody has any questions, but thank you for coming out. And Ed, I see your note there. I really appreciate that and all of the support you all give me. So lots of love. Thanks, Marshall.
Marshall, look, she's on the side, but now I recognize her from the testimonial. Hey, Marshall.
So thank you, and thank you, Gray, for your wonderful facilitation of this.
Of course, my pleasure.
And of course, to Bermuda Festival for making sure the festival got seen this year, even though it was online. I think it's important to keep creative people creating, and I thank them for that.
Lana Young, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All the best. So you guys, I just want to say, part of the Bermuda Festival is an outreach program for youth and seniors. Each year, the festival offers free performing arts workshops to students from public and private schools, as well as senior centers. This is an experience that is not offered by any other organization on the island. All outreach sessions this year are happening via Zoom. To find out more about the 2021 outreach program, you can click the outreach link under this video. So with that said, I would like to say thank you so much for joining us tonight. I would like to encourage you to please donate to the Bermuda Festival. The past couple of years have been extremely tough for everyone, and that is why the Bermuda Festival is donating 50% of every donation to the Coalition for the Protection of Children. If you don't know this organization, check them out by clicking the link also below this video. They are doing incredible things for families who are lacking in resources. Please help the festival reach their goal of $10,000. Click the link to donate. And we have one show left, you guys, as part of the 46th Annual Bermuda Festival of the Performing Arts. It's coming up on December 4th. Join us for a concert to commence the Christmas season with 4 incredible local musicians. Thank you for your time and have an amazing evening.